Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 20th of October 2022. And today we are going to look into the most important articles that were there in the newspaper. These articles are important for the prelims and mains exam. So let us look into the list of articles that we will take for discussion today. Okay. So we are going to look into these articles one by one. The first article is related to international relations. So in this article we will understand about Turkish foreign policy, the East-West divide. So in this article we will learn about how Turkey, being one of the largest nation, right, is maintaining its foreign policy between east and western part of the world. Okay. So this plays a very significant role, right, in the global geopolitics as of now. So we will discuss about it in detail. It is part of GS paper 2 of the mains exam. Okay. After this we are going to discuss about another topic. It says a new lease of life for climate action. Okay. So here in this article we will understand about the new term, newly coined term. It is not only a term, but it's a kind of policy instrument that people are promoting, right? People are promoting so that we can have a sustainable future, we can have a sustainable climate. Okay, so this life we are going to understand about what do we mean by life here. Okay, so this is part of environment and ecology, and it is important for GS paper 3 of the mains exam. After then we are going to talk about another topic. It says Center to promote destinations in 15 states as part of Swadesh Darshan scheme. Okay, Swadesh Darshan. So in this article we will understand about this particular government scheme which is known as Swadesh Darshan, and we will also look into which cities are being promoted as part of Swadesh Darshan 2, right. This is relevant with art and culture, okay, for the prelims exam. And after then we will take another topic. It says the next CGI will have the longest tenure in the last decade. Okay, here CGI stands for the Chief Justice of India. Okay, so the new CGI is Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, who will be appointed as the 50th Chief Justice of India. He is going to have the longest tenure, right? He is going to have a tenure of 2 years and 2 days. So we will discuss about the appointment of judges in the high courts, in the Supreme Court of India, and we will also look into the list of Chief Justices of India who have served longest and shortest tenures. We will understand about various nuances related to the Supreme Court of India. So this article is important under Indian polity section, and it is important for GS paper 2 of the of the mains as well as prelims, mains exam, as well as for the GS section of the prelims exam. So with this, let us take the first article for discussion. Okay, so it says Turkish foreign policy, the East-West divide. So why we are talking about the East-West divide? So when we talk about Turkey as a state, right, Turkey as a state, it has some of its geographical location that is there in Asia, and some of its geographical location is located in Europe. Okay, so now this particular country is at the middle point, of these two parts of the world. One part is considered east, right, the eastern part, which comprises of the Asian continents, and the western part, right, the European Union and other countries, right, that comprises the western part of the world, right. So since Turkey is one of the countries that is in the middle, so it has some roles to play with respect to the eastern part of the world, as well as it has some roles to play with respect to the western part of the world. So as as of now, currently lot of geopolitical tensions are happening in various parts of the world, including Russia-Ukraine war, and apart from this, some of the western countries have some kind of tensions with the eastern countries, and about the Arabian peninsula or Arabian countries, and Iran-Iraq divide is there. So in that case also, like this country Turkey plays a very important and significant role. Now if we talk about Turkey, like Turkey has a very glorious past, right? Like Turkey has a very glorious past, and that Turkey takes what we say pride in maintaining its past structures. Like in the past, like they used to have one of the powerful kingdoms. So now if we talk about Turkey as a country, so this country is still powerful, and the present like ruler of Turkey, Mr. Erdogan, okay, Mr. Erdogan. So he he portrays Turkey. His name is Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He is the president of Turkey. He portrays Turkey as one of the most powerful nations in the world. Turkey maintains diplomacy with the good diplomacy with Russia, and at the same time it maintains good relation with Ukraine. So in the ongoing tension between Russia and Ukraine, Turkey has been the only country that has maintained relation in such an extent that it was it is able to do trade with Ukraine, and at the same time it is able to do trade with Russia. Okay, the one of the country that is capable of doing trade with both the countries without hampering interest of any of these two countries. So that's the what we say, that's the kind of diplomacy that Turkey is playing at this point of time. So similarly, Turkey plays roles in some other countries as well. So in the first what we say first paragraph itself, the author has highlighted one key important point related to the foreign policy of Turkey, and here the author has said that amidst the sharp east-west hostilities generated by the war in Ukraine, there is one country that is at the center of regional diplomacy, which is Turkey. Following earlier rapprochement with Saudi Arabia, Egypt and United Arab Emirates, Turkish president, right, Recep Tayyip Erdogan has rebuilt bridges with Israel by meeting its prime minister, Yair Lapid, on the sidelines of United Nations General Assembly in September this year, and pledging to cooperate on shared security and energy interest. And in a dramatic overture on August 19, Mr. Erdogan indicated Turkey's readiness to engage with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, saying there is no resentment in politics. Okay, so here we see that in one side we have Saudi Arabia, Egypt, United Arab Emirates having similar kind of foreign policies of supporting one another, and on the other side we have Israel, right? Israel, they have some other kind of foreign policies. So Turkey is at the inflection point. This particular country is able to maintain relation with both the thing, and at the same time Turkey Turkish president has shown its interest to build relation with the Syrian president Bashar al-Assad. Okay, so now it seems that Turkey is trying to be more powerful, more hegemonic, and at the same time maintain very good diplomatic relations with foreign nations. So this is the thing. But despite this bonhomie, Turkey's mailed feast has been on display. Okay, so recently what has happened, Sweden, right? Sweden is one of the Nordic countries, right? It is a Scandinavian country. So Sweden has applied for the membership in the NATO. Okay, NATO means North Atlantic Treaty Organization. But Turkey has maintained a tough posture. It tries to block entry of Sweden in the NATO. Okay, it tries to block entry of Sweden in NATO. North Atlantic Treaty Organization is a kind of security alliance, and in this organization there are many member countries, including United States and European Union. There are many countries, right, as part of NATO. So NATO is a kind of security alliance where the constituent document of NATO, it says that it talks about collective security. The Article 5 of the constituent document of NATO, it talks about collective security. It says a threat of attack or an attack on any one of us will be considered as a threat of attack or an attack on all of us, and all of us are going to retaliate against the common enemy. Okay, so that brings strength to this particular organization. So many countries are willing to join NATO. Okay, so recently during the ongoing crisis between Russia and Ukraine, you might have noticed that, like, Ukraine have applied for the membership of NATO, and that time many countries were opposing this, but like European Union was willing to, willing to include like Ukraine in the NATO, in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So the thing is, like, ongoing pressures are there on Ukraine, and at the same time many countries are opposing the moves of Russia. At this point of time, many other countries are also playing their own role. For example, if we talk about India, India has not taken any single side, like it has not taken side of Russia completely, and at the same time it has not taken side of Ukraine or United States of America. It maintains good relationship, it maintains good relationship with these two countries in different areas of interest, but at the same time it does not it does not take a unidirectional single side towards one country, so that like other countries feel displeasure against India. Okay, so like India, so at this point of time India is maintaining the stature that India has started like way back when it had signed non-alignment treaty. Okay, so like now we are not aligned with a particular side, because India believes that at this point of time the world is a multipolar world. It is no longer a bipolar world where, like, on one side we have Russia as one of the biggest power and we have United States of America as the other biggest power, right? But the thing is, India believes, and the world has moved ahead. India believes that like it is a multipolar world, and at the same time like India has its own rights to stay neutral, to pursue foreign policy according to its own national interest. Okay, so that's what is being talked about now here. So like if we talk about the relationship of Turkey, okay, with United States of America or with Greece, right? So here the author has mentioned that Turkey is concerned about expanding ties between Greece and the United States. Okay, so like Ankara is the capital of Turkey, you must be knowing. Okay, recently summoned the ambassadors of both countries to protest about the deployment of US military supplies on islands in the Aegean that are close to Turkey, in violation of several agreements, including those of Lausanne and Paris. Okay, so like earlier multiple agreements have been signed between different parties to maintain neutrality in some of the island areas. But the thing is, recently the United States of America has deployed, right, its forces in some of the islands, right, in some of the islands in nearby agency or in the agency. So the thing is, like, Turkey has asked the ambassadors of these two countries, ambassadors of Greece and United States of America, and they have questioned them that like, why have you deployed your forces in those areas which were earlier like decided upon that like no force will be deployed. Okay, so this is the thing. Now Turkey is trying to maintain a geopolitical posture where like it does not want to allow any foreign country to have any hegemonic structure in the island regions where Turkey finds its interest, right? So this is the thing. So there are two other areas that are under dispute. What are those areas? One of the areas is Cyprus and other is East Mediterranean. Okay, so you must be knowing that Mediterranean Sea, right? So it is a sea there in the western portion of the world, right, nearby Turkey. So the thing is, what happens like in the Eastern Mediterranean, so Turkey has an interest that like this particular region should be neutral, it should be conflict free, there should, like, armed forces should not be deployed by countries like United States of America or any other country for that matter. So the thing is, like, because forces have been deployed over there, so Turkey has Turkey has taken a stand, And why Turkey has taken a stand? Because earlier US has given assurance that like we will not supply any weapons to some of the members like who must be asking who may be asking for weapons to create some kind of what we say military deployment arrangements there. But recently the US has withdrawn that particular clause and now it is supplying weapons. So that's why Turkey is against that. Okay, so Turkey is like Turkey is now trying to maintain very strong position globally. Okay, very strong position globally. So now what has happened, like Turkey has provoked whom it has provoked. It has provoked Greece. Okay, so in a further provocation to Greece, Turkey concluded an energy agreement with Tripoli based Libyan government, okay, for joint exploration of hydrocarbon resources in the East Mediterranean. The agreement was signed in the presence of Mr. Erdogan, who was accompanied by his foreign, defense, energy and trade ministers, signaling Turkey's wide-ranging strategic interest in the region. Okay, so there are some regions where some what we say some tension is happening. Tension means like this region is of interest among the conflicting party. There Turkey has gone and Turkey has signed defense like energy agreement. Okay, so Turkey, the president of Turkey along with ministers of defense, energy and trade, they have visited, they have signed the agreement. So this agreement has annoyed Greece. Okay, it has annoyed not only Greece but also United States of America. So United States of America, Greece and for example Israel, they maintain a different kind of foreign policy, which is like not in sync, not in tune with the foreign policy of Turkey. Okay, so this is the thing. So like if you read this article, you will understand like which parties, which countries are on which side and which countries are on which side. But like after reading this article, you will understand that Turkey has ever been evolving as one of the strongest countries in the world, and Turkey has also shown its interest. It has shown its interest to be a member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In short, it is known as SCO. Okay, India is a member of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India, China, Pakistan, Russia and 4 Central Asian countries, they are member of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So Turkey has also shown its interest in joining this particular security alliance, and once it joins, right, it can position itself as a global power. Okay, it can position itself, right, Turkey as a global power. Okay, so Turkey has global ambitions. For that, it is taking one or other other position time and again. Okay, Turkey's diverse diplomatic forays are bewildering. Means Turkey is taking different diplomatic positions at with different countries. Okay, and in all those positions, Turkey maintains this particular thing that it becomes more strong. It becomes more strong so that it can itself, right, itself as a single party can confront or is in a position to challenge any foreign authorities who may be thinking of threatening Turkey. Okay, so this is the thing. So if you read this article, you will understand that in a world where we are seeing growing divergence between eastern part of the world and the western part of the world, there Turkey is maintaining a kind of positioning where it is in a position to have diplomatic ties with the eastern countries and diplomatic ties with the western countries, and also it maintains a very good posture with conflicting parties, and it is becoming stronger day by day. Okay, so if you read this article, you will understand that Turkey is trying to showcase that the foreign policy, it reflects adroit uses of politics and geopolitics mixed with strong elements of Ottoman glory. Okay, so there was an empire which is known as Ottoman Empire. So this was one of the strongest empire in the ancient world. Okay, so now it is trying to showcase the Ottoman glory there. Okay, so you can read about it, you can learn about where are different locations situated geographically. For example, you can locate about Caucasus, okay, then you can locate like where is Balkans located, you can locate about Mediterranean Sea, you can see which countries are surrounding the Mediterranean Sea, etc. Okay, so that will help you to understand about geopolitical thing that is happening in the world now. Okay, you will understand about geopolitics. But now what is the role of India here, right? Why we are reading is it as part of GS paper 2? Because like India is interested in maintaining good relation with Russia, it is interested in maintaining good relation with United States of America. So like any country that have good or bad relation with these two global powers will also somehow impact the foreign policy of India, somehow influence the foreign policy of India. So we should not only like care about our foreign policies, like we should also think, like we should also keep a watch on like how global powers are shifting their foreign policies, right? Global powers, for example USA, for example Russia, like Turkey, like how they are reshaping their foreign policy. So like we should be watchful of that thing, and like we should like calibrate our foreign policy and national interest, right? We should safeguard our national interest, and we should calibrate our foreign policy accordingly, so that like India also like becomes stronger day by day, and at the same time the image of India becomes stronger as a global power, not only economically but also politically, but also I mean like in terms of power supremacy, right? So this is all in this article. With this we will take another topic for discussion. Okay, we will take another topic for discussion. Okay, so this article is relevant for GS paper 3. It is relevant for under environment and ecology section, under environment and ecology, and it's a part of GS paper 3. Okay, so in this article we will understand about right, we will understand about a new lease of life for the climate action. Okay, so in this article we will understand about like why people are thinking that like we should have a climate action, because the thing is like we know that global warming is increasing, right? With increasing global warming we are losing huge number of species year on year, means like huge number of species are getting extinct, right? So we have to safeguard the floral diversity, we have to safeguard the faunal diversity. Floral diversity means diversity of plant species, we need to maintain that thing, and we need to maintain diversity of animal species. But because of increasing global warming, because of deforestation, because of huge impact on environment and ecology, right, we are losing species like year on year, huge number of species are getting wiped out, and now the crisis has risen to all time high. The climate crisis has risen to all time high, and you might have noticed that there was a girl, a school going girl, her name is Greta Thunberg. Okay, the girl name is Greta Thunberg. She left her school to raise her voice against, right, devastating like devastating activities of the global powers. She has raised her voice, she has warned the global leaders that like if you don't take an action now, it's going to hamper, right, it's going to hamper our future, it's going to hamper the future of the generations that are going to come. And she has talked about, she has raised a voice that climate emergency must be declared. Okay, she has voiced that like a state of climate and emergency must be declared by the like foreign powers, right, by the rulers. But the thing is, now if we talk about the recent happenings, okay, if we talk about recent happenings, what is happening nowadays? Nowadays, like like we are losing a species, and like we need to take multiple actions. Although we have signed different agreements, different treaties, many countries have signed, but like when it comes to taking action, these parties are missing, right? These parties are missing the deadline in taking actions. Most of the commitments that are made, they remain on the paper itself, right? They do not become actionable. So that's why this is the right time that different countries must be taking their step. And recently what has happened, recently what has happened, like the Secretary General of the United Nations, he has visited India, right? He has visited India, and like along with him the Prime Minister of India, right? They went to like Gujarat, okay, and there they have released, they have adopted one specific thing, that is life, okay. They have discussed about this thing, life, right? So we will understand what do we mean by life. So there they have talked about that, like we should mold our lifestyle in such a manner, we should mold our lifestyle in such a manner so that like it becomes climate friendly, okay. For example, like many people are there who is still like take a bicycle to go from one place to another place. They try to find greener alternatives to do their work, right? Why? Because they want to safeguard the planet, they don't want to harm the environment. And at the same time we have other kind of people, right, who are using the resources in a reckless manner. They are using the resources and they are polluting the environment in such a harsh capacity that like it is like if we have like greater number of those people is going to harm the planet at large. So that's why we should adopt a lifestyle, we should adopt a lifestyle which is in sync with the climate, right, which is not harming the climate. So here what has happened, our world today is in turmoil, it is facing multiple mutually reinforcing crises. Even as we mount as a fragile recovery from COVID-19 pandemic, war fuels a devastating energy, food and cost of living crisis. And for the first time since it began over 30 years ago, the United Nations Development Programme's Human Development Report has warned that global human development measures have declined across most countries in the past 2 decades, okay. So now we are at a position where the world is progressing technologically, but like we are going back, right, we are harming the planet at a ever, I mean like the fastest rate, we are harming the planet the fastest rate, at the fastest rate historically, okay. So like earlier we used to have Millennium Development Goals from 2000 to 2015. Then we have adopted Sustainable Development Goals from 2015 to 2030. And this is the time that like most of the countries in the world, they are trying to implement the Sustainable Development Goals. We are trying to implement the Sustainable Goals. And we, like Indians, right, we have achieved some of the targets of Sustainable Development Goals like a decade before its deadline, okay. The deadline is 2030, but we have achieved many of our targets. So the thing is like the world needs to be moving at a faster pace so that we can achieve our Sustainable Development Goals together. We means the all the countries together can achieve the Sustainable Development Goals together at a faster pace, right. So we have also signed the Paris Agreement, and the COP26 summit that happened in Glasgow, okay, it represents urgent collective step countries are taking to limit emissions. Yet the window for action is closing fast. Commitments we have now will not keep the warming below 1.5 degree target that gives the best chance of averting catastrophe, okay. So like many countries around the world, they have adopted a target. What target? They have adopted the target that like by this year, right, we will be able to like stop the global warming beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade when we compare with the pre-industrial level. But like the recent summits have highlighted that it is not possible for us to do so, because like many countries are missing the deadlines, they are not able to achieve the desired targets or commitments that they have made in multiple international forums, multiple forums where climate action related pledges have been taken by these countries, okay. Many countries have taken pledges for themselves, but like they have not been able to deliver on those commitments, on those pledges that they have taken, okay. So with the narrative so focused on geopolitics, the scope for each of us to make a difference as individuals seems increasingly lost. While governments and industry carry the lion's share of responsibility for responding to the crisis, we as consumers play a large role in driving unsustainable production methods, okay. So here the author is talking about like as an individual what we can do and what we cannot do, like what are our limitations. But as governments, as industrialists, they have their biggest share of responsibility that they should be adhering to, but they are missing either intentionally or right because of I mean like because of needs or like because of pressure. So this is the thing. So what is life? Okay, what is life? So, like what is life that is discussed in this article? So according to this article, life means lifestyle for environment. Okay, so we should adopt a lifestyle that is good for the environment, that is not harming the environment. Okay, so lifestyle for environment, it was announced by the Prime Minister, okay, Prime Minister of India at COP26 in November 2021. And this brings a fresh and much needed perspective. Okay, so rather than framing climate change as a larger than life challenge, life recognizes that small individual actions can tip the balance in the planet's favor, but we need guiding frameworks, information sharing, and a scale of global movement. Mindful choices cultivated by life animate this spirit. Okay, so recently what has happened, it has been showcased that like we need to mold behavior of people. How we can mold behavior of people? By incentivizing them when they take good steps, when they do good. Okay, so nudging means like giving some kind of incentive to people to do an action in a desired manner. Okay, nudging means, it means influencing the behavior. Okay, it means influencing. Nudging means influencing. For example, the government of India has came up with one particular thing which is known as ODF. ODF means open defecation free. Okay, open defecation free. Earlier, like we have noticed that like in rural areas, in villages and all, people preferred to defecate in open spaces, right? So defecating in open spaces has, right, consequences for the environment, consequences for the livelihood of animals and plants, right? So like we adopted a mission, open defecation free mission. Under this, we try to nudge the behavior of people. Nudge means influence the behavior of people not to defecate in open spaces. The government of India has launched initiative under which toilets have been built like in the houses of people free of cost by the government. Government have paid for building toilet in the house of people, so that like we can have an India which is open defecation free. So what is this? This is called nudging, right? So we have Swachh Bharat mission. So as part of Swachh Bharat mission, we have some programs like this, open defecation free program like this. Okay, so this is known as nudging. Nudging means influencing the behavior of people. Okay, so here many of the goals of life means lifestyle for environment, can be achieved by deploying nudges, gentle persuasion techniques to encourage positive behavior. The United Nations Environment Programme, which is in short known as UNEP, employs proven nudging techniques such as discouraging food waste by offering small plates in cafeterias, encouraging recycling by making bin lids eye-catching, and encouraging cycling, okay, by creating cycle paths like that. Okay, so like we are incentivizing people for their good behavior, and we are discouraging people for their bad behavior. That is known as nudging. So like we need to nudge people. Like people cannot bring their habit, I mean we cannot change the habit of people all of a sudden. We have to nudge their behavior, we have to influence them to do good, right, in their area. Only then like we can bring larger changes over a long time. Okay, so this is what is being suggested, this is what is being suggested by the United Nations Environment Programme. Okay, so this is the thing. So I hope you might have understood like what is our new lease of life for climate action. So now we need to adopt a lifestyle that is healthy for the environment also. Okay, so with this Here, the author is also talking about that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and UN Secretary General, okay, Antonio Guterres, they together, they have together visited the Statue of Unity. Statue of Unity is located in Gujarat. They have visited there and they have, shared the vision of life. Okay, life means lifestyle which is in sync, which is, not harming the environment. Okay, which is good for the environment. And they have said that lifestyle for environment must be made a global mission for everyone. It should be made a global mission for everyone, so that we, the entire world can become a pro-planet people. Pro-planet means we all think about the planet before trying to harm anything about the planet, okay. So we have to become pro-planet people, and they have also talked about whole of society, the entire society in the world, different societies across the world should, become pro-planet people, and we need efforts from the whole society, okay. So this is the thing. So with this, we will take another article. You can read about this article, okay. So COP 27 is going to happen. COP 27 means Conference of Parties 27, right, where members of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which is known as UNFCCC, they are going to participate. They are going to discuss about what is good for the planet, what is bad for the planet environmentally, and they are going to commit, okay, on certain aspects. They are going to take pledges, so that they can take action when they come back to their own country. They can take action accordingly, to move towards a greener planet, to move towards a planet that is healthy, okay, that is not deteriorating as fast as it has been doing, okay. So that's the thing. So with this, let us take the next article. This is a very important article. Again, this is a very important article. In this article, we will understand about one government scheme, and we will understand about those important places that are important from the perspective of art and culture. Art and culture is a very important section of GS paper 1 of the mains exam, okay, and also for the prelims exam, okay. So now we will talk about this thing. So it says Center to promote destinations in 15 states as part of Swadesh Darshan, okay, 2. So in this article, we will learn about what is Swadesh Darshan scheme. We will learn about what are those destinations, okay, that are being promoted as part of this particular government scheme, okay. So here you can see this is the image of a very historical place. This is the image of a very historical place. So we are going to talk about names of such places. For example, Prayagraj, Chitrakoot and Gwalior. These are among the cities identified in 15 states across the country to be promoted as part of India's new domestic tourism policy, okay. So we are trying to reframe the domestic tourism policy in India. So as part of that tourism policy, we want to promote some of the very important historical places, places that are significant for art and culture, right. We want to promote them, okay. So the initiative is being taken as part of first phases of Swadesh Darshan 2, which will be kicked off in January, okay. 15 states. These 15 states include Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, okay. So let's talk about these places that are being promoted, and at the same time we will discuss about Swadesh Darshan scheme. This particular government scheme was launched in the year 2014 and 15, okay. So 2014-15 this program was launched, and we will discuss about this scheme in detail now, okay. So which places are being promoted as part of this scheme from the state of Uttar Pradesh? These are one of the places, Jhansi, second place is Prayagraj, okay. These two places will be promoted from Uttar Pradesh. If we talk about Gwalior, Chitrakoot and Khajuraho, these places will be promoted from Madhya Pradesh. And if we talk about Ajanta and Ellora caves, they are located in Maharashtra, okay. So these places are very significant, right, from the viewpoint of art and culture, okay. So if we talk about Swadesh Darshan scheme, the Swadesh Darshan scheme is 100% centrally funded. It means it is a central sector scheme, okay. It is a central sector scheme, means where the entire funding for implementation of this scheme is being borne by the central government. The central government is giving all the funding for this scheme, right? So this scheme is been revamped with the mantra of vocal for local, okay? You might have heard about this thing, vocal for local, means like, you know, for promoting the local thing, you have to be vocal, you have to talk about the importance of the local thing in the like international market or in the market in the countryside, okay? So this is the thing. This Swadesh Darshan scheme was launched by the central government in 2014-15 for the integrated development of theme-based tourist circuit, okay? So you might have noticed about that, like this is Buddhist circuit, this is Jain circuit, this is Hindu circuit, like under Buddhist circuit, all the Buddhist places, all the Buddhist historical and places will be connected through a tourism circuit, tourism belt, where, you know, government provides tourism services to people, so that like buses are available, you know, roads, highways are built, and these places are renovated, okay? The Buddhist places, for example, Bodh Gaya, okay, let's consider Bodh Gaya. So it is being renovated and it is part of a Buddhist circuit itself. So like, you know, theme based tourist circuits are being integrated, they are being developed by the government, right, under this particular scheme, which is known as Swadesh Darshan scheme. And under this scheme, the Ministry of Tourism provides financial assistance to state governments, union territory administrations or central agencies for development of tourism infrastructure in the country, okay? So like because of this particular scheme itself, like many people are getting employment, many people are getting jobs, right? So this particular scheme is also being promoted so that, like, you know, more jobs can be generated, right? To create jobs including self-employment for local communities, to enhance the skill of local youth in tourism and hospitality, to increase private sector investment in tourism and hospitality, and to preserve and enhance local cultural and natural resources, okay? So the vision document of the Swadesh Darshan scheme talked about this thing, like talked about the objectives, right, of this scheme. The objective of this scheme is, like, you know, to promote the places in India, the tourism places in India, okay? So according to the third tourism satellite account, means like it's a kind of report, and this report has these report have were released in 2017, 18, 18, 19 and 19, 20. These report talk about the contributions of tourism to the employment, okay? And it has contribution of 14.78%, 14.87 and 15.34%. It means like this, the tourism also has a huge potential in generating employment to the tune of 14 to 15%, right, of the total employment in India. So that's a very good, thing associated with tourism as an industry, right, tourism as an industry. So with this, like, we will take another topic for discussion today, and this topic is very important for GS paper 2 of the mains exam and also for the prelims exam under Indian polity section, okay, under Indian polity, okay. So this is important for polity section. Why this is important? Because, like, a new judge is being appointed, a new Supreme Court judge is being appointed as the Chief Justice of India, as the next Chief Justice of India. So he will take, he will assume office on 6th or 7th of November, right? Today, like, we are on 20th of October. So after 15-17 days, we are going to see another, Chief Justice of India. So he is Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, okay? Why this article becomes important? This article becomes important because Justice D.Y. Chandrachud is going to serve one of the longest tenures that any judge of the Supreme Court of India has served as the Chief Justice of India, okay? So like in the last 2 decades, in the last decade, in the last 10 years, this judge, right, is going to serve, like, he's going to serve more than 2 years of term. Like, you might have noticed, like, if you are a consistent reader of newspaper, you might have noticed that some judges, assume the office of the Chief Justice of India for a very short tenure, as short as, few months, 1 or 2 months or 3 months. But this judge is going to serve for about, 2 years. So let us understand about, I mean, like, you know, the the judiciary as a topic, right? Judiciary as a topic of GS paper 2. If we talk about judiciary in India, so we have an integrated judicial system in India. Integrated means like we have a system of hierarchy in the judicial system, right? We have lower level, you know, courts, like, you know, we have courts at the panchayat level and all, like, you know, in the lower level we have municipal court, etc. Then we have district level courts, right? So we know them as civil court and the you know, sessions court, like, you know, like sessions court are those courts at the district level that look into the criminal offences. Okay, district court, when a court is hearing the matter related to a civil offence, when a court is hearing a matter related to criminal offence, it is known as a sessions court. Okay, so at the lower level we have district court, and these district courts come under the supervision. These district courts come under the jurisdiction of the high court in the respective states, wherever there is a high court, right? So we also have, let's consider one high court for more than one state as well. Okay, so high courts have authority, have, you know, some control over the district level courts in their own jurisdiction. But like on the top of the high courts in India, we have the Supreme Court of India. Okay, we have the Supreme Court of India, which is on the apex, this is the apex court, this is the top level court in India, right? If we talk about the strength of the judges of the Supreme Court of India, like if you check the book, you will come across, like, as of now we have 34, a strength of 34 judges, I think, right, in the Supreme Court of India, right? So these judges, I mean, the judges in the Supreme Court of India are appointed. They are elevated generally from the high courts. In general practice, they are elevated from the high courts. Let's consider, you know, some chief justice of a particular high court is being elevated as a judge of the Supreme Court, or some, let's consider lawyers, like, who have eligibility, who have served as a lawyer in the Supreme Court for a specific tenure. There is a eligibility matrix, right? Eligibility matrix that talks about for like being a judge of the High Court, or being a judge of the to be a judge of the High Court, to be a judge of the Supreme Court, one has to have these like, you know, this much qualification. They must have served in this capacity for certain duration, etc. Okay, so like, you know, for appointment of the judges, we have a system in the judiciary that is known as collegium system. So what happens under collegium system? Under collegium system, the judges appoint other judges. Okay, means like a bench of judge, right? A bench of judge who has the capacity to decide like who is going to be appointed. So they like, you know, what they do, they recommend the central government to appoint so and so judge in high courts or in the Supreme Court, right? So the appointments happen on the recommendation from the collegium or collegium. Okay, the recommendation comes from the collegium itself, and collegium comprises all the judges of the Supreme Court of India only, right? All the judges, like, it comprises only the judges. It does not comprise any like, you know, member from the executive or legislature. It does not comprise any member. It comprises only the judges, means like only the judiciary. So judiciary is appointing member for itself, right? But the government of India had also come up with, you know, an act like an appointment commission, which was also known as National Judicial Appointments Commission. Okay, NJAC, it was known as NJAC. The government of India had come up with NJAC, National Judicial Appointments Commission. There the government of India had, you know, tried that, like, you know, there should be role from the executive, there should be eminent persons from different fields, and this particular body should also comprises you know, some members from the judiciary also, right? We will not go into the technicalities, like, you know, how many members will appoint, like how many members will come from the government, how many members will be from judiciary. This particular act has been enacted, National Judicial Appointments Commission was enacted, right? But that particular commission, I mean, like, it was enacted, but later on the Supreme Court of India has come up with a judgment when, like, you know, it was for example, it was, what we say, disputed in the Supreme Court of India. They have, you know, decided on this particular matter, and they have, you know, like, they have completely they have completely revoked this particular thing. They said like this is not this is not in accordance, means like their judgment was to completely nullify this particular thing. So as of now, for appointment related matters, it is the collegium from the judiciary itself who recommends, and then the central government have to appoint that particular minister, and like the law minister of India has also some role to play in the appointments, right, in the appointments. So here now in this article what they have talked about, in this article they have discussed about like the journey of Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, like how he graduated, how he done post graduation, how he was elevated as a judge, right, how he became the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court, and later on like he was appointed in the Supreme Court of India also. So like so I will briefly talk about it, maybe means like you may be interested, many of you may have pursued LLB, many of you may be pursuing may be interested in the legal field. So they might be interested in knowing how a person becomes becomes the judge or goes to the, let's consider to the to become the Chief Justice of India. So basically Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, I mean like his father was also a judge. His father was also has also served as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India. He was the one of the longest serving person as the Chief Justice. And if we talk about the Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, he has graduated from St. Stephen's College, then he has done his post graduation, right, here from DU, right, he has done like LLB, like from Faculty of Law in Delhi University. Then he has acquired Masters of Laws degree and Doctor of Judicial Sciences from Harvard Law School. I mean like he has had a brilliant academic career, okay, he has had a brilliant academic what we say credential. So after that like he served like he became lawyer, he worked and he served as the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court. And the thing is like he was elevated from the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court to become a judge of the Supreme Court of India in 2016. Okay, he became judge of the Supreme Court of India in 2016, and now it is 2022, means after 6 years he is being promoted as the Chief Justice of India, and he is going to serve for more than 2 years now, okay, as the Chief Justice of India. So the list over here that you can see, in this list they have enlisted like like which judges have served for how many days as the Chief Justice of India, right. So they have mentioned about many judges like that, okay. So if we talk about Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, so Justice Y.V. Chandrachud was the father of was or is the father of Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. So he served for 7 years, 4 months, 19 days as the Chief Justice of India. Now Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, okay, he is serving for 2 years and 2 days, and before this like many other judges, I mean they have served long tenures. So this is the list of top 5 judges like who have served for longest tenures. Then there are bottom 5 judges also. There are judges who have served for like Justice J.C. Shah, he has served for 1 month 4 days. There are judges who have served for, let's say, 17 days as the Chief Justice of India. During a tenure of 70 days, it is hardly, I mean like a judge can hardly deliver on few cases like that, okay. So this is the thing, this list is not that important, you can read it as part of your interest, but like through this article I wanted to discuss about like the judiciary as a body. Although like I did not take you through the nitty-gritties of the entire appointment system, but like I discussed in general like how the judiciary is functioning. So like we have, I mean like judiciary, executive and legislature, okay. Judiciary as a separate organ, so like power is divided horizontally among them, like judiciary, executive and legislature, and executive and legislature are not that separate, I mean like they are not separate body. The people in the legislature, I mean like they are part of executive also, okay. So this is the thing. So I hope you like this article. So you can read about this article to understand about Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, his I mean like journey to be the judge of the Supreme Court of India and to be the Chief Justice of India, Okay, so if you have any questions, if you have any query, you can put it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them like in the comments at a later point of time. And so stay tuned for the upcoming the Hindu newspaper analysis discussions. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session, and I hope you all have a great time ahead, great day ahead. Thank you.